Sausage Roll got off to a rough start with me with their one article that they put out saying that Disney was going to try to squash an Alita sequel and for political reasons. But this one and the one before this were pretty good and they were pretty positive, and I really appreciate that. And the thing about this one is that they actually show some proof to what they're talking about, which is a big problem that I had with the first article that they had. They just didn't have any sort of source or anything reliable that we could point to substantiate what they were saying. Actually, the last one as well, when they were saying that Cameron was going to go ahead with the sequel without Disney. That's all well and good, but I would like them to show what their sources are or what they're basing that on and things like that. But in this one, they actually show something, and I really, really dig it. So, what the title is Alita 2 in high demand according to Google. And what this person does is they do a Google search, and that search, well, not a Google search, they search the Google Trends, and they see that they compare a few movies and they see that Alita is actually searched higher than, well, not movies but characters searched higher than both Batman and in certain points Batman, not the whole year, just a certain point, and Spider-Man at certain points of the year. And that inspired me to do a search of my own. But I'm just going to read to you just a little bit from this first before I show you what I searched. And I'll start here. Fans can't get enough of Alita. Trends show that everyone's favorite cyberpunk warrior is one of the most searched on Google, making the inevitable sequel highly anticipated. Alita Battle Angel has been making all kinds of headlines, some good, some great, and some not so. What that tells us is that she is definitely on a lot of people's minds a lot of the time, and Google Trend statistics seems to show that. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the reasons why. I'm sure most of you could think of many reasons why, but we just, I'll just explain some of my reasons, some of my own personal opinions on it. But once again, I'm not an expert or anything, so I'm not claiming to be the person that you should take the advice of. I'm just going to give you my opinion. Knowing the risk of adapting a beloved manga for an English audience, James Cameron was still passionately committed to the project. Alita Battle Angel went on to make 85 million, about almost 86 million at the domestic box office and 317 million internationally. Even though these figures may not seem big, that's extremely impressive for a Hollywood adaptation of a 20-year-old manga. And thanks to word of mouth advertising, a lot of people discovered Alita Battle Angel in time for its home media release, placing at the top of the charts for almost a month straight. I'm glad they mentioned like the word of mouth because the marketing for Alita has been abysmal, and I kind of wonder if this person might be might be hanging around us on social media. I don't know if they're on Twitter or on Facebook. I may do a little search later on to see if they're in our circle or not, um, and maybe figure out if they have a little inside knowledge of what we're doing. But I'm glad that they mentioned the word of mouth aspect of it, so that they didn't come out and mention Alita Army by name, but that's pretty much what what it refers to when they say word of mouth. It appears that Alita 2 is in high demand. Months later, the film is still one of the most discussed and searched. Our Alita articles are among our most read. Alita is also consistently one of the most searched terms on our site. This got me to do a little research, and lo and behold, it is among the top searched movies of 2019, and fans are itching for a sequel. Alita is more searched than one of Marvel's most popular superheroes, even after news broke that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is returning to the MCU. Here is the image that they showed with Spider-Man in the blue. No, Spider-Man is in red, and let me scroll back up so that you can actually see that. Okay, Spider-Man is in red, Alita's in blue, and Batman is in yellow. Batman is way up there most of the time, but what can you expect, you know? But during February, Alita spiked above Batman. That's when a movie was in theaters, and yeah, I guess I would say that that might even cover probably part of early March too, when a lot of stuff happened. You know, a lot of stuff happened around Alita. The controversy that we often talk about, where Alita got politicized, but you know, that was a brief moment where Alita spiked above Batman. In the rest of the year, Alita doesn't really go above Spider Man until maybe late July when her Blu-ray is being released. Now I'm going to show you the search that I did because I searched for another term here. All right, I don't know how it got zoomed in like that, but okay. So we have, let me show you the colors here. Okay, Alita is in blue. Alita Battle Angel, the title Alita Battle Angel is in blue. Alita is in red. Spider-Man in yellow. And Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is in green. Now, I get conflicting reports or conflicting information, data on which is actually searched more, Alita versus Alita Battle Angel. I think when it comes to hashtags, Alita Battle Angel is searched or used more than hashtag Alita. But when it comes to search terms, Alita beats out Alita Battle Angel. So it's kind of weird like that. But let's see if I can zoom in here. You see, in February, Alita had a big, huge spike. And towards June, here, remember the Rise of Skywalker, that's Star Wars, that's green. For the most part, that is consistently below Alita. That just shows you how how kind of not big, but how significant Alita has become. And you know, that probably also tells you that Star Wars has some issues as well. But I would rather look at it. I'd rather put a positive spin on it. And so, what else? Another thing that we see here is around July 23rd, when the Blu-rays went on sale, the digitals and the Blu-rays, both Alita and Alita Battle Angel did have a spike. Um, Looks like Spider-Man spiked up a little bit before that. That's when the movie was released in theaters, I think it was, yeah, in July. And so, of course, that one jumped up there. But Alita was still higher, even when Spider-Man was in the movie theater. Alita, the term Alita, was searched higher than Spider-Man. Now, as you can see, it's kind of looking pretty bad for the Rise of Skywalker, and I have to think about what Disney would say looking at this data. What would they think looking at a potential franchise and Alita Battle Angel and ending another franchise, which looks like it's going to end on a very, very low. But I think you would look at this and say, okay, let's 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 invest in this Alita girl. Let's take a chance on it, right? That's what you would think. But who knows what Disney is? Who knows what Disney is thinking? My personal opinion, since Spider-Man is coming back to the MCU, and I knew Disney wouldn't let him get away, but since Spider-Man is coming back to the MCU, they'll probably look at Alita and say, "Well, we're not too worried about Star Wars now, because we have Spider-Man, we have the MCU. If Spider-Man had left, then they would have only had Star Wars and the MCU still, but the MCU I think is on a downward trend, in my opinion. I think the best years are probably behind them, and that's fine. They had 10 good years. There's no problem. But so I believe they're going to be on a downward trend, and this would be a time where you would want a new franchise to step in, something big. And so I think Alita would be that franchise. But since they have Spider-Man back, they may just underestimate Alita. They may think, well, Alita may not be worth investing in after all, and we'll just let Alita go, hopefully. And James Cameron would say, okay, you guys aren't interested in making a sequel. I'll take it to Paramount or maybe even Sony. The one issue with Paramount that I learned is that Terminator Dark Fate is going to be released in China as well, but it's so expensive to release in China that they had to go through 20th Century Fox, and 20th Century Fox is now owned by Disney. So in a way, they still, Disney is like Thanos in this situation. Disney is like, you did all of this, and where did it bring you? Right back to me. So it's gonna hopefully, if Cameron ever decides to take Alita to Paramount, and he needs to distribute in China where it can be a little more expensive, hopefully he can cut a deal with. I think he has a pretty good reputation over there, so maybe he can cut a deal, or he has some kind of arrangement where Alita gets a something where it won't be so pricey, and we won't have to, or he won't have to go to Disney or the 20th Century Fox in order to distribute the movie there. Hopefully. But this is pretty much all I wanted to show you and all I wanted to say. And one more thing, we could probably also thank Rosa Salazar's Undone, which is on Amazon Prime, for part of the boost in Alita searches and Alita Battle Angel searches, because a lot of people who saw Undone are going to be interested in Rosa Salazar, and they're going to want to see what Alita Battle Angel is about. So I think this is just showing that Alita has a lot of potential, and we're not really as, even if the Blu-rays don't make a whole lot of money, we're not really in a bad situation. So don't sweat too much. Don't get down or negative or anything like that. Just pretty much enjoy the ride. That's all I can say. So thank you all for listening, and I'll talk to you later.